With Project PBE Live, the pros have more access than before to limit test and seek out new comps. As such, one of the first innovations has appeared, and the shoutout should go out to Spotty, who here tested out and found out about the Yunara-Alistar reroll board, managing to put up great success himself. The final board that we are looking to be playing looks like this, while when rerolling on level 6 we are looking to be playing around 3 Blossom so that we could utilize this reroll power to gain strong charms and hopefully snowball the game already on stage 3. Shoutout also goes out to the Demacian Raptor for posting the notes from the Spotty, and here's his tweet also linked. For today, we are going to be jumping in game with Kojnid, already catching up on this comp, sharing the same study group with the Demacian Raptor, and should have a good read on how to approach the line. We are immediately starting out with the 3 Blossom in the free reroll encounter. Have the sword, have the bow, definitely can be considering playing around the Yunara, and he's just saying green light, I'm going for it immediately. Also have the brawlers that we can be pairing around with the Alistar in the earlier stages of the game, but it's also completely fine to be playing around this Yuko Yorick for a while. Ideally, you are looking to be playing around that Stoneplate so that you can align the abilities of the units hitting the most units. Clear mind. If there are strong level 8 lines, for example, like something like Almec, or you're playing around Coven, this is great. You can also be playing fast 9 into this, but it's going to be quite hard to pull off if you have a strong board to be playing around. We currently do not have upgrades on our board, so I am not going to be considering it over something like a Slammin, where we can consider making a strong slam or just leaving these components floating for a little bit. Coven Acolyte, this is going to be similar to your Anima Commander from last set. Unfortunately, the stabilization of Coven on level 8 is a little bit lower at the moment. Therefore, slamming seems like to be the best option offered to ourselves. Econ in the set is incredible because the charms are taxing your Econ. If we elect some sort of direction, Legion of Threes would be a great pickup in this kind of a spot. Emblems always can establish that for you. Makeshift Armor, if you're able to streak onto one, is a considerable option when you have those backline slams. Then you can indicate more on the backline slams and eventually arrive still to a 3 item tank. Well, also should be quite decent, I believe, in something like the Elderwood lines, because from the last set, if you remember, Black Holes benefited from it. Should be the same going on here. So it seems that we are going to be going with just floating these components for now. Ideally for a reroll, you are not picking slamming, but hey, Econ is Econ, and it's going to be definitely better than Clear Mind. Allows you to make those the level to 6 a little bit slower, faster, and we have these free rerolls immediately. 4 free rerolls, that's quite a lot for this stage. If you were to be playing something like the 1-cost reroll in this kind of encounter, you definitely would have wanted to use them already on level 3. We're going to be using them here, picking up a charm. Fishing for strong Econ charms is not a bad option as well, and Slammer in some sense incentivizes also you to be win streaking as an Econ charm. As an Econ augment, that is. Therefore, if you're able to pick up an upgrade here as we did, we are fine to be trying to make the strongest board, but unfortunately queue into also a quite strong of a board. Still able to make 10 gold here, there, and we are, I believe we pre-leveled there as well to level 5 for a possibility to maybe hitting that Yunara too. That could definitely set us on a win streak path from right there, but we're going to be holding off to make that Spear of Shojin and perhaps a Dead Blade as well. All great items for this Yunara. Do not want to be making... She's not like the set 16 Yunara where you wanted something like a Rage Blade and a Krakens. She's more of an AD caster this set around. And then for our Alistar, as mentioned, we are looking for something like a Stoneplate and HP items. Warmogs is great still, nonetheless, of him being a bruiser. They are a great pickup, and we have that open belt. We're going to be immediately picking up another sword as we can make use of lots of swords. And that's going to sort that out for ourselves. Have the Death Blade, but probably maybe opting to hold on to before that slamming the Spear of Shojin. Rerolling shop with fall 2 cost, this is amazing, gives us immediately 2 Alistars that we can be picking up, definitely, even though this might seem, well, we're still able to make the Econ threshold, but perhaps, hey, we didn't pick up the charm, we could have made 30 here. These are worthwhile to be picking when you have the strong options, going to immediately be slamming that blade, so that we do not flow too many components and do not have to worry about remover economy. Also helps us perhaps to save some lives, and maybe it's not even the end of the world if we do not have something like the Spear of Shojin. The stats on the obviously, since this is PBE, the amount of stats is limited. We're going to be still utilizing these free rerolls to fish for a charm every single turn. That's a nice thing to make note of. Even despite being on a loss streak, he's perhaps fishing for strong Econ charms, strong any form of charms that can give him a possibility. Now, the thing is, we're going to be sacrificing the slamming value here because we wanted to secure that win streak. We wanted to get rid of this itemized Yunara on our board, but this is going to give us upset the slamming for ourselves. And I believe this does not. This should shift our leveling interval, right? Unless we skip another turn. Nonetheless, he's valuing the 5 streak a lot more. That is generally going to be worth more gold because obviously the streak interest carries over into your neutral round. I'm not sure if that's something like perhaps maybe a design thing that should be addressed at some point. But we find immediately the Spear of Shojin, lucky item drops, now just have to worry about a little bit our frontline by 12 XP. This is generally going to be quite strong as well. But I don't know if in our spot we're going to be affording 12 XP, 7 gold right away for the 12 XP that's going to over level us. We're going to be doing it nonetheless. Alright. I mean, we have a lot of free rerolls from this encounter, and perhaps we're wanting to be starting our snowball here. If we can turn this 5 loss into a 5 win streak, that's going to be a great economic situation for ourselves. But we are running on Yunara 1 against the Zyra with, well, let's call it 2.5 items. Unfortunately, Zyra still seems to not be outperforming as well as the Riot has intended, and she's going to be able to make a pickup for ourselves probably right now, since we are playing in an Econ Galaxy as well as with an Econ Augment already. Most likely looking for items, if not then strong combat, and something like Glass Cannon could be quite good. Executioners, we have damage jump, but we primarily have AD and the mana generation, so something like the damage jump on this set could be quite good. Otherwise, the Censure is fine. Bonus Gift Plus, I do not think it's something that we're looking for because it's an Econ option. Whenever you are fishing for more charms, there are some synergies with charms with this bonus gift augment that can be quite neat. It's Me Baby could be an interesting pickup. We have damage jump, attack speed, also the 415 attack speed is not that bad since our build generally does not run attack speed, so the lower breakpoint is quite good. Earth, I mean, I don't think it's worth gunning for a Blossom emblem here. We have to still do some innovations around these emblems. Magic Roll could be considered potentially as items, but he's just going to value It's Me Baby to further boost up his unit. We have an option to pick up Abundant Ship, and he's going to be going for it. That's also a quite of an interesting pickup right there. But it was like, well, we are still only on Yunara 1. This gives us a lot of free rerolls and allows us to send it here on level 6. Still rebuilding our board, maybe immediately be able to pick up the Executioner of Ezreal and also the Ahri right there to fit the Spellweavers in. So if anything, our board situation improved, maybe a little high roll, but nonetheless, just this Abandon Ship thing is, it's a lot. Plus it's free econ coming in right there, and I guess he just didn't bother counting. He assumed this is going to be fine, and it worked out for the best if the value is actually going to be there. Now, we do have a little bit of lack of a frontline presence still due to the lack of the item augment. We have to hope this 3 and Alistar are strong enough, but there has been rumors around that this Alistar, now that he has received some buffs, is going to be quite strong. Going against the Kazakhs, and there have been trying some innovations also to fit in Kazakhs in this board, because he can gain the Executioner, because he can gain the Spellweaver. Theoretically, the traits that fit in this comp quite nicely. The issue is, you want to be itemizing this Kazakhs early on for him to get snowballing, and otherwise you can get snuck with no takedowns. I am still not the biggest Kazakhs fan, and well, when this will be, there's someone with the Blackthorn emblem that is simply going to be a much stronger setup, so not going to be seeing there. Someone takes the set from ourselves, and the glove would have been nice there, sort ourselves out with the Sunder that we're probably keeping this open bow for the moment, and just complete Warmog's armor right there. Are we going to index here? We're going to be indexing even more onto these reroll charms that we can possibly find a set as well. Nice, perfect trade pad right there. Generally, yeah, as mentioned, we want to be playing around this 3 Blossom ideally if we can. Obviously, you're not going to be high rolling Ezreal every time on level 6 to be fitting in this kind of a board, but Elderwood as well active. But it's a nice thing to make note of for those days. If you do high roll, you have the possibility of increasing the board power that way. And then we just fill in with vertical executioners. I particularly love the 3 and 4 executioner breakpoint at 2. It seems like they are a little bit underpowered. And LeBlanc seems to have printed for ourselves the final copy, I guess. I'm not sure if it's worthwhile chasing LeBlanc trio generally. It's something you can be rolling for on the long side, but we do not have the items. You definitely need item overflow to be playing around in that form of fashion. Because, well, 3-star without items is not going to be doing much. If it's a frontliner, then at least it's a warm body, but the LeBlanc 3 in the backline without items is not going to be doing as much. But we can hold on to these extra copies for now, just maybe something happens and we're able to find them. I found also an Elder Dragon right there from our charm. But yeah, we're still rolling here on level 6 obviously for this Alistar 3 to complete that. Even though we have that set, we're one copy of now. We are quite close, so it's worthwhile to be grabbing, but you have the out if the set is relatively uncontested to, if you high roll very early on your Yunara 3, to just simply go and push levels for that's unutilized set 2 as your primary carry. However, well, I think the set is going to be contested here, and we were... I mean, the breakpoint is relative how lich you are, but I would say around, if you're around even 5-6 copies, it's completely fine to be staying there on level 6 and rolling for your tank. As you definitely want to be utilizing this spike window, right? Your spike window is a 2-cost reroll, is this stage 3 and hitting on pace here on early stage 4. Then on stage 5 you might be lacking a little bit in the power. For our final augment, Prismatic cupping in, so probably going to be a valuable spike into the rest of the lobby. Blue buff, red buff, something we may consider. Also could make some cheeky plays with that champion duplicator. We probably I think we still need to sort out anti-heal and blue buff. If we are this close to this LeBlanc 3, is not going to be a bad option. Tons of stats, otherwise a generically decent combat option we can be considering. He's defaulting Call to Chaos. That's an interesting choice. I also like the nesting anvils. Particularly here is going to be 12 gold component anvil, artifact anvil. That is pretty much a gold augment plus about 1 2/3 of a silver augment, so it's definitely a little bit maybe over budget even. The verticality amazing for your high vertical lines, but we're going to be finding here a spatula and a pan, and I believe we can be trying to gun for executioner emblems or a blossom emblem, though it doesn't seem that anything that's going to be made here is going to suit that. So maybe we just we utilize this here. We can make a stone plate right away and then just have a tactician's cape. That gives us a free slot, immediately able to slot an executioner that way. Going to be keeping the tempo relatively high. Going with the bramble vest instead of this stone plate. Stoneblade is generally going to be a little bit stronger in the early game, so perhaps he's valuing that once we've here arrived at this early late game, then simply playing around Bramble Vest is going to be worthwhile if the lobby is leaning more heavily towards AD. We have the possibility to refinesse our items if we wanted to, but well, it seems like we're not going to be doing so. Just bought the charm for fun. The Bramblebug is going to be on the opposite side of ourselves, but so this is going to get those resets and make it in our backline. Jumps on our Yunara, but Yunara has this ability to evade, and in the last second evades, unfortunately, Morgana Tick is going to be taking her down, so that is going to be stopping our streak right here. Nonetheless, we have also made to level 8 on an extreme pace due to these heavy econ charms and the slamming value that we've been accumulating. So we have the possibility to also just simply push level 9 from here and try to cap out around this cannon. Cannon still remaining as one of the highest possible cap units, 5 costs in the game, just to the immense power he has. Pick up a bow, which I would imagine just going to become a red buff. Yeah, I'm going to be doing so. Find another XP charm. This is the blessed game where you're finding all these econ charms. You probably have, if you've played experience in your own situation, one like just finding 2 or 3 of these this early in the game and versus not finding them, it just makes the world of the difference for you, especially when playing around an econ augment as well, or without one, particularly without one. Going to be going up against this Kha'Zix board. Thankfully, they haven't fully spiked with the Azir 3 yet, so we're able to make a wheezy work of it. Well, a little close, but still a win for ourselves. Pick up and just simply going to be investing into these charms. You can also just pretty much fish for a charm at point at this point at every turn, also with the possibility of maybe completing this LeBlanc 3, as now we're finally going to be getting some items for her to be itemize her, right? Up against Nidalee here, the Alistar is just simply holding down the fort. Yeah, that was an AP in Nidalee, and despite us having a Bramble Vest, still the Alistar was able to hold on quite long. The Nidalee wasn't going to be bursting through there. Find an ash, a natural ash as well, that allows us to improve our quality a little bit more. And the Soraka Opting to not play around 4 Executioner right away, so saving that for, well, the virtual level 9 this would be, because we have the Tactician's Cape, keeping the 5 Blossom in there for a little bit of a stat boost on our team. And Ash can now hold our utility, going to be transitioning this Gunblade right here. Nice spot, because we are so backline heavy. Having this Gunblade right here is going to help us keep the Alistar alive. And Ash is going to be generally amazing at keeping the utility, also not utilizing our component ammo probably until the carousel. There can still be open components on the carousel, and we do not want to be perhaps potentially wasting our remover right there just to I mean, to just slam a component on Ash and then have to remove, but we are fine in the remover situation. Now, another Econ charm coming up, and we're able to push level 7 with the extra rerolls as well right now. This is going to be a very strong spot for us to be looking at closing out the game with 60 HP when the next player is only at 29. Now, this is the adapter reroll, so let's see, are we able to break through one of the strongest tanks present right now, this Vi3, but it seems so. Definitely, this Alistar held the ground against the Master Yi, and bought us exactly enough time to be able to just clear up with our backline, and there comes our gold as well. So we are on the course to be pushing level 10 and fully capping out. Still not going to be looking for this cannon. We can utilize these free rerolls. But if you just wanted to look for better charms, but nonetheless, we have a charm coming in every single turn. So they're just present there. We're able to pick up whatever we're taking. Not thinking about it too much, as we have this extra HP lead. Golden Egg seems to this player from the Call to Chaos had enough time to be crushing it out, but had that HP lead, has that Elder Dragon too, so this is going to be possibly a very real test of how well this line can perform. The Elder Dragon is beating on the backline, but thankfully the Yunara is keeping alive. The Alistar, the sliver of health, lives, and we brought this down guy to 1 life, and if he's going to be losing, he's not going to next round, he's not going to be cashing out his Golden Egg, and we perhaps with this win secured ourselves the first place finish by drastically reducing the, by essentially eliminating the final threat in the largest threat in the lobby, that is. Now they're just picking up the first charm. There is not thinking about it too much. Deadblade for our Ash completes a nice duo carry. Since we have that last Whisper, this was an ideal to be playing around double AD carries. And now go against this Brambleback, who is now on the same side, so he's going to have a rough time getting through this Alistar. We are going to be chipping him out right away. Doesn't have any form of aggro resets. Didn't gain a single reset. Morgana has made it to our backline though, but thankfully the Yunara jumps out of the puddle, cleans up this player. The Golden Egg player is out, so now we are in a 1v1. 2 players alive, 2 players streaking. Riot Games Classic coming up right here. Again, obviously, it's this insane Blackthorn Emblem Kazakhs that we're going to be facing. Do not want to isolate our units, just want to make sure that we somehow can keep away this Kazakhs from our backline. Going to be queuing him up in immediately. This is not going to be the last fight, and the Kazakhs, yep, he does jump to our backline and just takes out the Yunara in one swing. Even though she did that nick of time, she was able to still do 10,000 damage. Nice spotway here, going to be tagging in Lunar with this Lunar Lux. Are we planning? But maybe have Lux pair, so maybe capping around Lux 2 is a possibility we can consider. Definitely still want that cannon though, in my opinion. Find the Lux 2, find this cannon finally. We have 11 units to be fielding, so we have a little bit more maneuver space than you generally would in this game. So let's see how he manages to reach the max cap, what he believes to be in this line. For Executioner, find that Taric 2, that should help. Maybe we can pair even with one of our Yunara or something to do not get it off in time. Lots of actions to be taken this turn, looking just for some kind of a Lux item right here. The Kazakhs thankfully jumps onto the wrong side and does not get to the back line. We're able to buy just enough time, but not enough time. They have that Fiddle also 3 in the front line right there. So we do not have perhaps the best angle or any way to deal with the other backline support this Kazakhs has. Find a cannon too, so if this is not going to be doing it, I am not sure what will. The Lunar buff should be quite nice. And the thing is, we cannot really, we're going to be going with the Swites. I'm going to be giving up our gold augment right here. And the Kazakhs is just keeping on the backline. The Ash, the Taric procs for the Ash. The Yunara is jumping all around, and now she gets on the Azir. Nick of time. The Executioner bleed takes out the Azir, but we need to do this one more time to be able to secure this win. Move the items obviously over to the cannon, looking for any form of combat wisp that we can, and that was I did not catch exactly those, but we have 2 random ones. Perhaps that's going to be strong. Also opting to swap the items over to set. Theoretically, a 2-star 4 cost should be stronger than 3-star 2 cost. So let's see how we fare Again, Ash has a weird angle but does hit that Azir right away. We clean up the Kha'Zix and are able to now more convincingly pick up the win here with the set itemized. Overall, quite a wild game from Kojnid right here. Some high rolls, abundant ship, mega econ charms, but truly enabled through fishing for that charm with those free rerolls every single turn, and that is how you're going to be. You pay the opportunity cost, and sometimes this game is going to be rewarding you for it. And then having the true display of this Yunara, particularly here when we even needed to clone her in that last fight, the damage is truly there, and this is a comp that's probably going to be catching up fast and becoming quite meta. Capped out by making that Tactician's Cape and pushing all the way to level 10, not being too greedy on levels 8 and 9 since we had that massive HP lead and this Yunara was still able to perform, did not need any true extra assistance, and cap out the game around this wild 4 Executioner, Blossom, Elderwood, Lunar board. Truly a marvel to your eyes, and definitely be on the lookout for this comp. I would like to thank you for watching, I hope that you learned something new, and I wish to see you in the next one. Have a good one.